Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact. Hi, and welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in and being here. Today, I really want to dive into a big energetic shift that's transitioning for all of us in 2027. You may or may not have heard of it, and I'll be running you through what this all means and how this is going to be affecting all of humanity. And in many ways, we can actually witness the shifts actually beginning already in society, which I'll be diving into. And truly, as a chief energy officer who supports high achievers to step into their authentic self leadership, I felt it was important to really support the breakdown of all this for some greater themes that this energy shift holds for us. And I also feel it could answer questions within us that perhaps we didn't even know to ask. Because this has been my experience with supporting my clients using human design, is that it answers a lot of questions that speaks at an energy level in more of a unconscious way that a part of us knows, but we wouldn't know how to ask it. And so I found a human design to be very powerful in supporting these places within ourselves, right? And I often talk about the unconscious. And so this is something that may speak to you. And so I want you to know that something similar like this actually happened in 1615. And of course, no one was alive to experience that particular energy per se. However, currently we've been on a similar theme for 400 years in what we call the cross of planning, which is now coming to an end. And so if human design and these names I'm saying is foreign to you, just listen to it and just tune into the themes that I'm going to be explaining. Don't let those kind of words block you from really receiving the information, the themes, the energetic transmission, so to speak, underneath. Okay. And so according to human design, there is this big energetic change. It's like a background energy frequency that is happening at a grander scale where all our energy will be filtered through the energy in 2027. The overall themes of this cross of planning, which we've been experiencing for as long as we know, speaks a lot about this emotional, social, financial loyalty to the tribe, to the community structures, corporations, and institutions you may or may not been a part of. It's about bargaining or the exchange between getting paid for the work we do in these community structures, these big corporations, and trading that transaction of work to provide for our family and tribe, so to speak. And the cross of planning themes also speaks to what's called the gate of skills. It's a very logic based gate based on building and perfecting skills. That we're focused on getting those certifications and accomplishing more of the programs, creating mastery in our skill sets. And the cross of planning also speaks to the gate of details, where it was about building this global financial infrastructure like the internet, transportation, hospital, banking systems to support the collective logical structure focus, so to speak. And there was a greater focus on the greater collective of all. And there is change on the horizon, a new underlying energy behind the scenes that is pulling us or pushing us or calling us into something new, a new energy theme that will affect how we do things, what we care about, and what we value as a whole. And we are shifting into the themes of what's called the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And the themes of the cross of the sleeping phoenix are shifting into the gate of abundance, a spiritual connection filtered through emotions and the individual having It's moving away from being loyal to others. There'll be more value placed on emotional connection, to abundance, and to that spiritual connection, to be experienced through oneself versus the loyalty to the community or bigger corporations or structures that we have previously or presently been holding. Now, the cross of the sleeping phoenix themes also filter through the energy of intimacy, and this is with self and others. It could be sexual intimacy, emotional intimacy, where there's a value placed on honesty and transparency. Really experiencing true intimacy with self and others between one another. And there is also the theme of being in the now. It's how I feel now, being honest with the truth of how I'm feeling in the moment. And lastly, the theme of aligning to our personal power, empowering ourselves to do what we love, learning to empower ourselves first, then empowering others. And essentially the key words, right? Really that presence. It's like the now. Um, it's the key word of intimacy, right? That deeper connection with self. Being in our power, you know, power, empowerment, aligning to our power, and abundance, emotional and spiritual abundance. Energetically, right, we have been relying on bigger corporations and institutions, focusing on the tribe, the collective, and logical reasons. It's been about doing what others are doing, even holding on to old ways, right? As long as everyone in the corporation is taken care of. And with the sleeping phoenix themes, right? We are moving from that tribal and community corporation to be focusing on the individual, really moving from too focused on work and getting results to what feels right and working with and trusting with what one has. Moving from details, work, fancy infrastructure, like you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours kind of mentality, to more desire for freedom, to be oneself, to develop that abundance and intimacy with self, doing what feels right and feels good to ourselves. There's more reliance on valuing our individual self, having personal power, becoming and expressing more of me, right? Ourselves. This individual knowing that we need to be treated better. It's like a fight to stand up for ourselves in our power and really show up for ourselves, like finding our own abundance, our purpose, and our abundance in that, and to change the world, right? It's that energy of doing, work, inner work on ourselves first, and then we step up to be that leader to inspire others to want to be more for themselves. And so we are already seeing these changes happen in the world, as it's not that 2027 is a black and white number, right? Energy doesn't, work that way per se. And what we're seeing is that traditional structures and infrastructures are starting to crumble, and it's getting more difficult to steer the population towards a certain direction, as we, witnessed in COVID, right? There, people are chose to leave work, calling it the Great Resignation, with people voluntarily choosing to leave the work, realizing maybe I don't need big companies to support me. Witnessing strikes that are happening, the rights of the workers, standing up for saying that I deserve more, and there's more hybrid models in corporations, incorporating more flexibility, work life balance. And there's more alternative work, like, human design, healers, alternative, holistic practitioners being more widely accepted, right? And perhaps all of this is speaking to me because my purpose, according to the human design, is the cross of the sleeping phoenix. I'm right where I need to be to support people to move through this. And I don't think it's a coincidence that many of my clients are ex corporate based leaders, turned entrepreneurs. Many left because they didn't feel value aligned anymore, right? They were burning out. They couldn't, didn't feel like they could be themselves. And what I believe is this is why I was called to launch this podcast in many ways, to speak about authentic leaders rising, right? Because there are many who have left because they knew within themselves they deserve better, and how they wanted to be treated better. They wanted to step up their life. But also a part of them knew they were, meant for more. And many took action to create a different life. And honestly, um, I don't think every structure needs to go, and they're not working, but I feel like there's opportunity to really evaluate and to innovate how we choose to, run our businesses and our lives moving forward, with this knowingness, right? And whether you left a corporate based environment, or you've been wanting to leave, wherever you are at, this energy is moving through all of us, right now as we lead up to 2027. And wherever you are on the journey, you're all being invited to a new self recognition almost, and expansion within ourselves in our own ways, right? And in my specific human design, it actually highlights the energy of the people that I will naturally attract towards me. And the human design speaks about that in the sense of what, general niche you're meant to, you know, work with. And so there's so much information in human design. It's quite amazing. And for myself, with the sleeping cross of the cross of the sleeping phoenix, and with what type of people I'm meant to help, they're currently experiencing being in this energy of confusion, like self doubt, overthinking, replaying the past to try to make sense of the future in many aspects, trying to prove things and figure out things from the past to create understanding and to have things make sense. Unfortunately, what is happening inside can't be figured out in the head. It's energetic, right? It's through the emotions, it's in the body. It's learning to move from the masculine energy to the feminine energy. And that's moving from the head to the body in many ways. It's moving from this pushing and doing to learning how to receive, surrender, and to let go. It's moving from the logical thinking, to more of a sensing and abstract understanding. From a external linear doing to a more of a inward non-linear, like flexibility and surrender. And from overgiving to standing up for our own worth. I really hope this episode gave you a good overview on where things are going. I believe it's important to be at least aware, to stay on top of the changes that are coming. We already know that things that happen in our life happens at the energy level first before showing up as a body issue, and then before showing up as like a life issue. And so many ways learning about this puts you really in front of the change that will be unfolding for us all. And so knowing about these changes allows us to, really be in our self leadership, to begin to step into the soft skills, themes of the sleeping phoenix. We become the change so we can stand in our leadership to become that role model for change. As really the only constant we have, only consistency we have is that everything is always changing. And we are doing our best to equip ourselves to learn to flow with change, to navigate change, and to be in our self leadership through the changes, right? So thank you for tuning in today. I love to hear what you think of this episode. I welcome your DM messages. Please let me know how I can better serve you on this path. Much love to you. Hope to hear from you. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review so others can find the life-changing content that we're sharing here. We are starting our movement on our way to number one, and we need your help to get there. If you'd like to connect with other high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders who are also on their authentic, energetic leadership journey, join our free Facebook community, Energetically Aligned Leaders. Go to pathtotheheart.com/links to join the Facebook group, book your personalized face analysis experience, or to access our resources.